Welcome to Magnify Your Message. Inspiration magnified.
What if you could really get in there? What if you could see the person just like on a Zoom, but also see what's going on in this, 3D type of world?
Welcome to Magnify Your Message. Get ready for today's guest, Dedrick Boyd. He's an absolute game changer in the e-commerce and tech world. He's just too humble to say that himself. Yet, with over 2 decades of experience under his belt, he's the mastermind behind immersive online shopping for some of the biggest brands out there. Dedrick is all about keeping it simple but powerful. His approach is all about cutting through the noise and creating personalized, streamlined customer experiences. And get this, he's all about creating true connection in a disconnected world. Now, that is a first for a tech entrepreneur. Am I right? I think you're going to love this chat. So let's dive in. Have I got an interesting person for you to meet today? Dedrick Boyd, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Super
It's
excited to be here.
it's so great. You're such an innovator. You're so front end front end of the bell curve. And I'm super excited to share who you are and what you do with people today. On that note, who are you and what do you do?
Well, thanks. Yes, yes. So thanks for that. I am a digital technologist in the consulting space, and I work with lifestyle brands, sports marketing brands to help them really create innovative and interesting and interactive commerce experiences. More specifically, we've been working on the forefront in immersive commerce as of late, which is really to bring that gamification into the e-commerce space. It's to bring the socialization back into the e-commerce space. Instead of you having to go into the physical store, which we all love to do that post-COVID, but sometimes that's just not necessarily available. People who live cross country. So we want to create those experiences so people can actually do that from anywhere at any time around the world.
Man, what a cool thing. And as people, as we, any of us listen to someone's expertise or a story, we try it on ourselves. And my sister's about to get married. And I think of how that was something we wanted to share. She's in Portland and I'm
Okay.
in California. And we're like, do you want to come here? Should I go there? How are we going to do this? What do you is when you're talking about sharing experiences, is that the kind of thing you mean? And tell us more.
Absolutely. And that is one of the very first use cases that we had in mind was the bridal showers. In the old days, everyone lived, or now maybe not bridal showers, I don't know what they're called today, but the get together that you all do when they're trying to pick the dress. But not too long ago, everyone lived fairly close to each other.
Right.
Now we're spread out. So how do we create that same sense of being? How do we create the feelings of being there and sharing in these really intimate moments, for family members and friends to go through this process? So if you can do it online, that is a magical way to do that. Something a little bit more innovative than just, hey, I'm on FaceTime. Here's your phone. I can see you. Great. That's awesome. But what if you could really get in there? What if you could see the person just like on a Zoom, but also see the dresses and see what's going on in this, 3D type of world?
Because FaceTime and Zoom and all those are so limited. I have a dear friend who lives in Palm Springs where it's often generally over 100 degrees. And she was going for the first time to see another friend who lives in St. Louis in the winter. And she said, I don't own a coat. There's not much of a need for it in Palm Springs, right? She's like, I don't know. There's a special occasion. It's the baby's first, the people she was going to visit, first birthday. We've got a thing in the park. It's going to be winter. I don't know what kind of a coat. And we tried with the limited technology there was, but lighting, you can't see anything. It's hard to understand what you're really seeing. How does what you do differ?
That's it. Brings it's that's it. It gives us the way to bring the emotion into those environments and into those circumstances and events. When you are on a phone, it's shaky. People are moving the phone around. You can't see.
The
If you're
lighting
like
is
me,
terrible.
the lighting's terrible. Sometimes you can't hear because they've covered up the microphone with their thumbs. You name it. There's 100 different things that can go wrong during those events. But if you know that you have, friends and family spread out all around the globe, and it's not really practical for everyone to make it to that particular location, hey, let's set up an environment that you can all be there. And of course, you can have the little cameras and you can actually see people along the side, but let's create an environment that is this park, this magical park. Maybe you really have a love of how Central Park in New York looks, or maybe you love, a park in France and you've never been there, maybe you have, but that's where you wanted to have this event. We can build those events. You can build those locations for you digitally. Everyone has a character in the location and in the digital sphere, and walk around, converse with each other, share with each other. You can see what other people are seeing. And if someone happens to be there real time, we can even pipe that in to the environment as well.
This is mind-boggling. So let's say I don't know, a dress designer. Am I somebody who would come to you to design something for my customers, or do you just work with huge brands, or how does it work?
Great question. And yes, all of the above. We love the big brands. That's where I cut my teeth. Kind of being in the big five, Anderson and Deloitte and companies of that size. But we also work with those boutiques. And if you're a boutique dress designer, you have maybe one storefront, it's easy to create this environment and for you to have those one-on-one, I call them sales opportunities, or sales opportunities, those one-on-one events with a customer. It's an easy way for you to talk to them, to show them various different dresses, in 3D. You've probably designed them in 3D to begin with, so you already have a lot of the files that we need to make that happen. But you can also create this environment and then show them around maybe the storefront, and you can do that without having to spend thousands of dollars shipping dresses back and forth, or going to visit them, or them having to come see you. Eventually, they're going to get on the plane and go see you, or drive over to your location for sure to make sure the fit is exactly as they want. But we can cut through some of the upfront, noise, I'll call it, to get things started.
Wow, it's so cool. So then forgive me if this sounds like so pedantic and such a like I have no idea how it works. Is it actually then like like let's say I was this fictitious dress designer and someone comes into a video with me. Is it an avatar of them I'm dressing, or is it them, or how does it all work? This is fascinating, by the way.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And it's not pedantic at all. You would dress the avatar. And so
Okay.
that's one thing that we don't do, but we're hooked into many different, software companies that build avatars for people that look like your body. So you get a realistic or pseudo realistic look at how this dress would look on your body. You can pair it with different shoes, different dress, so you can fully dress it. You can walk around in it, and so it gives you it gives you some expression of character. More importantly, in this scenario, I think is taking the 3D model and being able to zoom in all the way down to like the nth level of detail to see Where's this lace? How is this stitching done? Is this satin? Is this silk? Is this, is this going to rub on my hip and really aggravate me, all night long? Or is this, done a different way with a different type of zipper or something? And so the designers of the clothing, they can call out, we call them hotspots in the, when you're looking at the 3D model, they're able to call out all the different things that they do that are much more subtle that you typically would see in person, call those out in a digital realm. So again, you can narrow down from maybe 50 dresses that you would like to see and try on when you get there in person to maybe 4 or 5, because you've already kind of pre-vetted and you understand exactly how it's done, exactly, the material, how it's going to feel on your body.
Right. What are some of your favorite parts of what you do?
This is a fantastic question. And the most exciting thing about this for me really is working with the visionaries who create these environments. That's not my type of creativity. I am creative, but that's not my type of creativity. And I find it fascinating when people say, can you build me something that does and looks like this, and they have many ideas, and once you work through that and you're tweaking it and you work with all the 3D modelers, and then you have to add in the lighting and the digital lighting and all the stuff so you cast the shadows the right way. It is just a fantastic evolution of creating the final product. And so to me, it really is the personal connections, those deep connections with my clients, the people that I'm working for, is the most exciting part for me.
You've spoken about, I have to ask, you said, this isn't, oh, it's not my area of creativity. I have a different area of creativity. What is your area of creativity?
My area of creativity is quite interesting. It probably stems from my early childhood in athletics, and then also playing music, and the blending of the two of those. So the discipline of athletics, the creative nature of music, putting those two together and creating something that is really elegant. There's a lot of elegance in a simple there's a lot of elegance in a simple solution to a complex problem. And so you really have to understand the problem if you're going to create a solution that is elegant and simple. And so that's where my creativity stands from.
How on earth did you find yourself in this field? What's the story behind all of it?
It is one that I tell fairly often, and it's quite weird. But I've always had a passion for, solving problems. And I like to say my journey began with puzzles, a screwdriver, and a heck load of curiosity.
Oh, yes.
I took apart rotary phones. I took apart my mom's stereo and record player just to see what was inside and figure out how they work. Thankfully, I put them back together with all the screws and everything in the right place. But I like to say that that's the curiosity that led me into a career of technology consulting. And so over time, working on digital commerce, it had a cart at any time, last 20 years, I've built those systems, B2B e-commerce, B2C e-commerce, digital marketplaces, e-procurement. So, and I look at all those carts and I look at the kind of stagnant 2D nature of those sites. And that led me to say, hey, there's a better way to do this. Maybe we can go to 3D because the kids are doing it. They're all playing, Fortnite, and not anymore, but they used to play Fortnite. They're on Call of Duty, but they're
Yes.
all there hanging out together and they're seeing each other and they're seeing these 3D worlds and they're having a fantastic time. It's time to blend and bring that forward into the rest of how we all live our lives.
And when you started connecting those dots and saying, wait, there's this gamification that's happening where people get fascinated with it. Did you just try to put it all together yourself, or did you turn to some of these designers? Like, what was the chronology of how it all came together?
It really, as many people say, it's somewhat of a child of COVID, which,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is a very odd thing to say. But when we're all kind of locked down and you couldn't go anywhere, I remember sitting on the couch one day, flicking through Netflix or whatever happened to be on. And my wife was in the kitchen talking to her friend who had relocated to Japan, of all places. And so she was trying to share and trying to show her, I have no idea what it was, I don't remember, but something she wanted to buy, some item that she wanted to purchase, purse, dress, who knows. But I sat there and watched, and I was like, look at how they're struggling to show this very simple thing. They could not get it right. She was taking pictures and snapshots and trying to send URLs, and it was literally a hot mess of 5 to 10 minutes. And finally, like, oh well, let me call you back from my computer, or well, let me go to my computer and call you back, and we'll FaceTime, and I can just turn my phone around. And that was even, grainy and not very clear to see. And that was when it dawned on me, because my kid was upstairs, one of my kids was upstairs yelling at the top of his lungs, the house erupting and about to fall apart, because he was on Call of Duty with his friends, and he wasn't missing a beat. Him and 4 or 5 of his best buds were doing this exactly what my wife was trying to do. They were doing it. And I'm like, how did I not see this before? I've played Halo for 20 years with my buddies that are in Atlanta and Florida and in California, and I've been doing this for 20 years. How did I not see this? So that's what got me started. I then started digging in and doing research. I looked at several people who are in the same space, in a similar space. I didn't necessarily like their solutions. They're great, because when they started, it was even earlier than when we got started. But I didn't like their technology solutions. I figured there had to be a better way. And so we got to work on a better way.
Mm. What's the Tom Cruise movie? Minority Report? Is that the one where this cool futuristic advertising is happening and he's walking down the mall and it's calling to him and he's touching things and moving them in these screens? It just, as you speak about creating these immersive experiences, it seems like that, like things that could actually tailor to us in a good way, serve us, allow us to create experiences rather than just shop,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
you speak about the pandemic, like it being a kind of a brainchild of that in a way. I don't know about you. I had so many people scatter throughout the country during the pandemic. Do you have a lot of people who've moved away and live in different places now as well?
100%.
It
100%.
it's like, the thought of being able to somehow bring people together for whatever event, it just seems so wonderful. Whereas, it can feel so distancing now that one moved to Santa Fe, one's in North Carolina, one's in Vermont. I'm like, where did everybody go?
Yes. And
Oh,
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Again, like I said, I played Halo. I had 4 buddies. We lived in Atlanta. We did it all on site. We would drag machines, and we had LAN parties. We big nerds. Uh, but we would do it all on site. And then I moved to Portland. One moved to California. One moved to Florida. And we were looking around like, hey guys, like how do we stay in touch? And we're like, oh, well, we can still play Halo. So we would just get on and play Halo when times aligned. And we kept our bonds that way for a decade.
wow.
And so it kind of makes sense. I think there's more to it, as you said. You can do more than just shop. The platform that is being developed can be used for medical tourism. It can be used just to
Whoa.
hang out and have a good time. Yeah, it can be used for hotels to showcase what's this property really like that's in the French Alps.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
how I want to experience, I want to see it before I put my credit card down and spend $10,000 a night.
Yeah.
Let me see what it's really like, because pictures don't actually do the justice.
Never. That
Never.
oh, we just went to an Airbnb and the fisheye lens on that camera that they
Oh boy.
took those photos with was like, wait, what? Where's the spacious living room? What? This is it? This is like a hallway. Wow. This is such a cool thing. I feel like with the way social media, especially, is trending, it's toward people being together but separate.
Yes.
I was at dinner watching the family, well, not watching, but glanced at the family next to me, 4 of them, mom, dad, son, daughter. everybody's on a device. No one looked at one another. No one talked to one another.
Oh
And I
boy.
thought, and I texted someone about it. Just kidding. But I thought, oh God, I mean, have I ever texted a dinner? I'm sure. I was
Sure.
like, okay, never do that again. Never do that again. But it's when we're spread out and social media can be so isolating that you're creating these online experiences for people to connect now seems more important than ever.
I agree wholeheartedly, and that is again one of one of the things that I believe that this platform, this version of the internet is going to bring to the forefront. Let's get back to having um, real heartfelt interactions with each other and not being the keyboard junkies or the keyboard jockeys, as I call them, to spit something out onto the internet asynchronously, say something, mean to someone and then go do something else for 4 hours, right? I do feel like the social media, conundrum or social media bubble that we live in is getting a bit tough, and it is limiting. As you said, it pulls people away from actually interacting. And so I think this is a way to say, hey, let's actually get together, let's have real conversations, and let's talk to each other as we would do if we were in person, even though maybe we are thousands of miles apart.
Right. I mean, we're not going to do away with the interwebs. How can we connect
Yes,
using it?
it's all about connections, all about connections.
Mm. Dietrich, what else are you up to in life?
Oh my gosh, lots of things.
It's such a kick to connect with you again.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Thank you for
great.
being here today. Tell us what else are
Yes.
you up to?
Recently, I authored a book.
Oh,
Again,
just
looking
that.
at the internet, just a small book.
I just wrote a book.
Yeah, we wanted to talk about, the AI has been a hot topic for, I don't know, a year and a half now. And I found a lot of questions and misconceptions just talking to, my family members and talking to other people in this space and, just talking to random people on airplanes. Oh, AI is going to kill all the jobs. Oh, I'm so afraid of it. It's going to take over the world. And so I heard that there were so many things just wrong in in what people felt and thought about AI. So I said, look, let's take a step back. Let's write a short, straight to the point, easy to read, easy to digest book that covers the history of it, where it came from, what it can, what it cannot do, who are some people that are using it, how are they using it, and hopefully give the readers something to think about, and then give them some pointers and tips on how they can use AI to further their own careers and their own lives. Because it's really nothing to be afraid of once you understand it.
Boy, that's an idea whose time has come. Where can we find this book?
It's exclusively on Amazon, and it's transformed by AI.
Fabulous. I'll make sure to get the link for that and put it in the
Okay.
liner notes of the episode. And while we're on the topic, where can people learn more about you and the work that you do?
People can learn more about me and the work I do. They can find me on Instagram at realdedrickboyd.com, or they can find me on LinkedIn at dedrickboyd.com. Or sorry, just at Dedrick Boyd. Sorry.
Okay, fabulous. I will put that in the episode notes. What else would you like to leave people with today?
Um, I would say, when it I would say twofold. One, really go after what you want to do in life. Be authentic. And the process of writing the book, the Transformed by AI, has opened another door for me. So I've actually written two books. That one is
What?
published. The second one is not published yet. And I recently have started the process of working with someone to hopefully get it casted and turned into a TV show. It will be a little bit different for my persona, but it'll be on hopefully on a streaming service somewhere. But we'll work to get that done. But it opened up something inside of me that I never knew that I had and never expected that to happen. And so I think when you just start to follow some of those authentic urges, you will find yourself in places that you have never imagined being. And, people who are out there looking will find you.
Wow. What a beautiful message to give away. Thank you. You must keep us posted on this. Now,
For
okay,
sure.
you said it was twofold. Was there another piece to that?
Yeah.
Or okay, what's that?
Well, the second one was just, follow that authenticity so that, if you're looking for, if you're trying to grow a business, if you're looking to grow your followership, whatever, if you are authentic to who you are and to your message, the right people that are looking will find you. Your tribe will find you. But you just have to continue to do it. You have to be persistent. You have to be consistent and just be authentic.
That is a beautiful place to leave this. Thank you for sharing who you are, how you came to do it, what you provide for people. It is a treat to be with you today. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you.
Well, that is a wrap for today's episode of Magnify Your Message. A big thank you to Dedrick for sharing his incredible insights on e-commerce and tech. I hope you found his story as inspirational as I did. To learn more about Dedrick Boyd, just click the links in the episode notes. I'm Cheryl Hunter, and this is Magnify Your Message. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and share this episode with everyone that you feel it would benefit. Thank you in advance. And when you're ready to share your story and your work with the world, I can help. Visit CherylHunter.com to learn how. I am Cheryl Hunter, and until next time, know that your message has the power to change the world.